Okay, good afternoon, or actually evening. Yours truly, Glenn with the City of Anna Fishing Field Team, COAF Field Team on YouTube. And this round, we're just going to do a recap of Galveston fishing, where yours truly and my fishing buddy go out every year, make the run to the coast to in this case, the Galveston Fishing Pier. Let's see if I can show you. Galveston Fishing Pier. Got this cool hat. And oh yeah, I like the high front here. And oh, looks like ground fog's on. Howdy, howdy, ground fog. How's it going? Let's see. Let's say hi. Okay. Uh, what I'll do is I'm going to just do a recap of the fun that we had, and take it day by day, and just do it basic chronological order, calling out a few things as I go through each day. And then from there, call out some things, some takeaways from previous trips, as well as what we learned this trip that I believe would be something to take with us next year. All right. And then on top of that, maybe even talk some gear. We'll just play it by ear from a timing perspective. We'll see how it goes. Okay, so just to give a quick run through of everything, I don't think there's hardly anybody on right now, so let me go kind of wait there. Let me go ahead and throw in some audio here, or some background stuff. Okay, so let me shift over. Let's see, camera 4, picture camera. Okay, and I'll start this. Okay. And here I just want to just call out I'd set up a live stream setup, and here I've just got it on the pier, streaming from my phone. I've got it right on the pier railing, and you're kind of just getting a straight shot into the T head, or by the T head, at the pier, Galveston Fishing Pier. And you can see the water is unusually green, very clear, and I'd say it's probably the clearest we've seen all these years that we've gone there. And hearing from some of the regulars, it sounds like they were in the same observation. So that was good to know. Other things to talk about was the water was really clear. I could see, a lot of fish in the water. And in this case, we're just kind of playing around. I'm using a blade lure in this case, just to show you what I was doing, and trying out some different things. So while this is happening, oh, bear with me. Camera, this old school camera. I just got to turn it on and off here, and we'll be back online again. Okay. All right. So with that, I'll let this run in the background. If you have any questions or comments that you want to bring up, certainly do. And additionally, I'll kind of flip through maybe some gear call outs that you may have. So this is the Galveston Galveston Fishing Pier 2025 trip that yours truly and his fishing buddy like to go to every year. And this year we started out with taking a run down the coast to Surfside to fish the jetty there. And I think it was Saturday morning. We headed up there, got there in the afternoon, and started doing some fishing once we checked into our motel. Picked up some live shrimp, and some of the observations from this go around was some folks that were on the pier. They told us about Surfside Jetty. They said next time you should probably go all the way down to, oh shoot, I gotta make adjustment to the bit rate here on the stream. Bear with me. What's nice about this on my desktop, I can make changes to the stream on the fly. So let me bump this up to, it says 6,000. Oh, let's go ahead and do that. Okay, there we go. And in the background, you can see here I'm fishing with my fishing buddy, and we'll go through again Surfside Day 0. talking to some folks on the pier later in the week, they were suggesting that we fish, to the end. Go to the end. Oh, got a commercial. Go to the end of the jetty is where you'd like to fish, and use live shrimp. Don't forget to bring the bait net, and then get some live shrimp at one of the local bait shops. And lo and behold, when I set up everything, I noticed I didn't have my bait net. And the main reason why you have to have a bait net, or strongly suggested bringing a bait net, is you get, be it sunscreen or you're touching other things, that when you put your hand in the water, next thing you know, you're gonna contaminate the water, and your shrimp's gonna die on you. So you definitely want to bring a bait net. All right, I gotta make another adjustment. I'm getting another warning here on the output. 6,800 for some reason. Okay, 6,800. I could do that. Okay. All right. Okay. So other things. Let's see. Live shrimp. Don't forget the bait net, and 15 feet from the rock. So as I was fishing, and I was live streaming at one point. In fact, here, let me go ahead and see if I can take us there. Let's see. Let's see if I can take us to that stream. I think I've got it right here. Galveston fishing pier, back on Galveston. Are you fishing? Galveston Pier, on the road, Texas coast. No. Oh, we're here. I think it's that one. Fishing Texas coast. This one right here. Okay. Okay, this is Surfside when we hit the coast, and you can see a lot of rocks and whatnot. And it was strongly suggested, yes, go all the way to the end of the pier or the jetty when you're fishing there. Use live shrimp, bring some spoons and whatnot. We didn't, and we ended up bringing some live shrimp, but fortunately, nothing was hitting on that. It was a very slow time for us. Normally, we do pretty good with live shrimp as well. It was suggested that fish 15 feet from the rocks, if not closer, and sure enough, our luck changed, and I started getting hits there. I did try some different things, like in this case, a grub tail tandem rig, but for some reason, Surfside, it was not happening. So other things to talk about in this case was there's no toll to the San Luis Pass Bridge anymore. It ended May, I believe. Oh, we got a commercial coming up. Let's let that run. Anyways, it ended in May of this year. And so now they still have a toll plaza there, but it's mainly to keep oversized vehicles from crossing the bridge. So you no longer have to drive up to the toll booth, put your $2 under the rock, and pay. So that was a new one to us. Okay. We also noticed there was a crabbing pier as we were leaving, more inshore in the estuary bayou area on the other side of the road, the inshore side of the road when you're going up. I forgot the something Coast Highway. Yeah, there was a crabbing pier there. So I think if we do go in there, we might do some more crabbing instead of fishing the jetty. But again, it was recommended that you go run up the coast and hit the jetty. All right. So with that, let's go and shift over to Galveston when we headed up the coast there and hit, let's see, on the road, Texas coast, fishing Texas coast. Here, I'll just go ahead and kick this one in here. Okay. No, that's not the right one. Okay, on the road, fishing pier. Here we go. I'll just go ahead and run this one in the background so you guys can see what's happening, and from there I can talk about other things. This is day one, Galveston fishing pier. Let's see, $15 day pass. Previously it was like 25, I think 20 bucks, and now it's $15. And in this case, we started later in the day, 6 p.m. fishing. Is really when we started fishing that that day. But during the day, we made a run to Tiki Island boat ramp, took out the cast net, and were able to get some live mullet. And I was able to throw that into the bait bucket and use that later on. Other things to note was when you are at that Tiki Island boat ramp, there's a pier. Better watch your step. There's a sign over there saying, be careful, proceed on your own risk, because there are a lot of, I guess, missing pier boards or whatnot. So, but you can still step through there. Just be careful. I went up there and was casting toward the boat ramp area as well as to the eelgrass area or grass area, and that's where I got our mullet that we used later on that evening. And I ended up getting a nice size speckled trout. Let's see, I'll switch over from the ad here in a moment. Okay, all right. And it was a 16-inch speckled trout, slot limit 15 to 20. We did see a lot of individuals closer to the pier entrance, right when you start coming out of the pier store, and you immediately look to left or right. The thing that caught us off guard was all these large, big speckled trout just hanging in that clear water area. In past year, like last year, in fact, there was a lot of wind and sandy water, so you could not really see down below. In this case, you could sight cast a fish. It was a definite eye opener, making it down the coast this time. Okay, here I'm just playing around with some tandem rigs. I think I went with, let's see, it was the grub tail, the one with the little grubby tail thing on there. I think I also put on some gulp minnows. Same person while we were in Surfside that gave us a heads up to use gulp minnows in tandem for speckled trout, sand trout, and whatnot. I went ahead and tried it here, and you can see catching sand trout. And down below, you're also seeing a bunch of needlefish. But in there, you'll see these other shadows and whatnot darting in between everything. Those are the sand trout. Okay. A big takeaway, day one, $15 day pass instead of the $20 and $25 one that we've seen in the past. Tiki Island boat ramp, if you want some live mullet and you don't want to keep chasing them through the surf, I'd say go down the road. Let's see, north on 45, it's like maybe, I'd say about 10-15 minutes from the 61st Street entrance to get on the on-ramp. 45. You just go over there, make the turnaround, and you'll see a boat ramp there where you'll see kayakers and boat, I guess, inshore fishermen and whatnot in their boats prepping. You can park and move to the pier. Just bottom line, that boat ramp pier has a lot of missing slats or boards, so definitely want to be careful. But did get some pretty nice mullet and whatnot in preparation for this evening, or in this case, day one evening round. And what's interesting, that 16-inch speckled trout, I ended up giving it away to another individual, but he actually hit about a 4-inch ladyfish that I caught earlier that day at that Tiki Island boat ramp. Yeah, it was a 4-inch ladyfish. I did try casting some 6, 7, 8-inch mullet, and had some hits there, but they really wanted the 2, 3, 4 inches, or actually 3, 4 inches. Other than that ladyfish got someone's attention. I got that keeper one. There was another individual, I think he limited out with like 19 and 19 and a half inch trout, so you could do it. And what I saw that seemed to be working for the most part was live mullet, live shrimp if you can't get the live mullet, but under a cork and you're ready to go. I did see some folks even free lining. In the case of the mullet, free lining, just a treble hook, no popping cork. Or the thing is you have a choice, maybe a size 10 or size 6, maybe in a size 4 hook. You can give that a try. I kind of tended more to the size 10 and size 6 hooks, and ended up getting that one keeper. So yeah, let me make a note here that you want those different hooks here. I'm kind of keeping these notes here so that I'm ready for next year. You know what I mean? So size 10, 6, and 4 treble hooks. Okay, and those are the galvanized ones, and you can pick them up at the Pier store. You can get them at Walmart. You can get all these different bait shops and whatnot. Okay, so key takeaway day one: bring live bait, live mullet. If you can catch it in the surf, do so. If you get it, in this case, down the road, Tiki Island Boat Ramp Marina, give that a try as well. Okay. Let's see, there was a beeping noise here. Okay, so I'm going to let this run in the background. One thing I do want to point out is I'm using the Shimano Curado BFSXG. Let me go ahead and shift to another camera right here. Howdy, howdy. Okay, got my Galveston beer hat on that we picked up, and I think they had a sale going on. My fishing buddy went and bought a couple, and I gave me this one, cool beans. And then I got my Win and Out set the hook polo shirt. It fits pretty well. Anyways, let me show you the Shimano Curado BFSXG. Okay, right here. All right. And this is the one that I bought specifically, I'd say a week after last year's trip. I went ahead and ordered this thing. It's a Shimano Curado BFSXG. I can cast 116-ounce lures, no problem. I've got it mounted on an ugly stick elite graphite. It's the 7-foot ultralight in the 2-piece variant versus the 1-piece. I like the 2 because I can break it down and keep it in my pickup truck and in the cab of the pickup truck and use it and practice with it throughout the year in preparation for this case. And in this case, the whole point was to be able to cast 2, 3, 4-inch mullet without anything other than the treble hook in your line. Okay. I started out with some 10-pound mono, and I knew there would be a possibility of getting something bigger. And it turns out I did get something bigger with this. In fact, I got that 16-inch speckled trout on this thing. Okay. So I went ahead and got this Yuzuri braid. It's a blue color. All right. And it's the 20-pound one. I think right now I've got about 50 yards on this. Comes in a spool of 150 yards, and it's rated at 20-pound test, but it is the diameter of 4-pound mono equivalent, and so it's basically having 4-pound mono, getting that extra distance I needed versus just sticking with that 10-pound mono that I had spooled it up with. And then so right off the bat, I felt very comfortable bringing things. In fact, this baby right here, this trip, ended up catching multiple sand trout, multiple croaker, whiting, etc. But even better, I'm able to land that 16-inch speckled trout, no problem, on this ultralight bait casting, bait finesse style fishing, as well as landing a nice pompano. I think it was like maybe 16-inch pompano, and then I caught some other things with this as well. So very very gorgeous. I'm pretty much going to use it again, saltwater as well as freshwater. And I think someone made a comment about $2,000 rims on a $50 car. I'm telling you, this is a good combination. And the thing about I like about the ugly stick is right here, this tip is sensitive right here. This tip right here is very sensitive, but at the same time, it's virtually unbreakable. I've not broken one of these. Instead, I think the only time I had an issue is when it fell over in the kayak when I was out there kayak fishing. Okay, so yeah, good, cool beans, good purchase, and it's one of the things that I would say helped me in the long run fishing the Texas coast. And I purposely bought this just so I could cast a 3-inch, 4-inch mullet without issue. All right. Okay, so I'll let the video run. Let me go put this aside. Okay. Oh, sorry. Let me grab that. Okay, bear with me. Okay. All right, so that was day 1, okay? And what I was showing you here in this video was really just working a tandem rig, spec rig, and the grub tail variant. And that was what was working. It was steady retrieve, just kind of cast it out there. I did try a silver minnow. My fishing buddy was obsessed about catching something with a silver spoon. And I was like, here, give me that thing. I'll catch something. And on my first cast, I caught something. For the rest of the time period, he kept fishing and fishing. But luckily, and I'll get to that later, he did get something on a silver spoon. All right. Anyhow, let me keep going. Let's see, day 2. And this is where we fished the morning, took a break, and then we fished the evening. And again, just again to note that the water was crystal clear. Crystal clear. You could see to the bottom in many places. You could sight cast a fish, which will come into play later in the next few days after, when we saw some other folks. And well, it's really cool being able to just see these fish moved about. You know, when you're used to the sandy, muddy looking water, brown water that we have been accustomed to fishing in the Galveston area, especially even the Texas coast. Okay, so while that's happening, I'm gonna go ahead and shift. Let's see. I think this was right here. This was day 2, and what's happening is, let me see if I can shift over. Okay. What's happening is there's a storm that's getting ready to hit. Okay. The wind's kicking up. It's getting cold. I have set up some rods and whatnot, and just shortly before this front or storm passes, and luckily it didn't rain on us, but you can see how windy it is and everything. We got a increase in the bite, had several runs on our shark rods, and I ended up catching a shark. All right, a little 16-inch black tip. Okay, and that was day 2. Yeah, day 2. And I'll call out a few more things about day 2 here in a moment. Just let me see if I can flip through here real quick. Okay, yeah. So day 2. Let me get us there. Okay, so day 2. Fished morning, took a break between or about midday because it was getting brutally hot, and I did note the crystal clear waters, and also a slow start. And we call it out. It was a slow start. About 5 p.m. ish, that storm started blowing through, and that's when I got the black tip, 16-inch black tip. And then after that, let's see. Oh, we caught him in the second gut. Okay, so what I like doing, especially when I go to any pier beach situation, is walk the pier its length and look for those. They call it a gut, but basically the dip between the next sandbar and then when it dips again because of all the waves and whatnot. And it'll change over the years. One year it may be closer in, another year it may be closer or maybe further out. In this case, I found the first gut was close to the first little cleaning station where there's a hose. The second one was, well, guess what? Near the second cleaning station as you go and walk the pier seaward. Okay? And so as I walked during low tide, I walked the pier, I just kind of marked that spot and just says here, later on, if it gets slow on the T head, let's kind of shift over and work that gut and see if we've got any fish, bait, and whatnot kind of lingering there. And sure enough, maybe even something bigger may hit. And I ended up getting that one black tip. All right. So that was day 2. Let me take us to day 2. I'm going to go ahead and run the video so that there's a commercial right now, but let me shift it over real quick. Skip that. Shift it over to day 4. Okay. And it's starting. Okay. yeah, so this is where we've now moved closer in. This is by the second cleaning station. It's got a hose and everything. You wash down stuff. We've set our stuff up. We initially were over there by the T head, and we decided to come in closer. And here, it's now night. I've already caught the black tip. The storm had passed earlier. And now the thing that I noticed was we needed some more bait. We like using sand trout, whiting, croaker. Typically sand trout and the whiting, but croaker not as much when it comes to catching some of these fish, but they'll still get some, come out as good bait. But the sand trout as well as the whiting tend to be the go-to ones when we're fishing for, be it shark and some other big ones. Okay, and different from day one versus day two. On day one, I was getting them left and right with a spec rib with the grub tail. All right, day two at the pier, I was using a spec rig, but this time this mono variant. Okay, it doesn't have a grub tail. It's just straight mono. It's actually lighter, the smaller size one. I didn't get hardly any one chasing it, any fish chasing the grub tail. I went to this one, steady retrieve, stop and go retrieve, just varying stuff. This is what I was getting our bait and stacking up on these guys. Again, you can see I'm using that Shimano Curado BFSXG. You can see that blue line, that Uzuri 50-pound, or correction, 20-pound test. I did put on some 10-pound mono as well as some 10-pound fluorocarbon. And I'll talk about the knot that I used. I think I might try a different knot, but it worked really well, especially when I needed to get that braid to mono connection. Okay. All right, so what happened day two? Morning, evening, crystal clear, with second gut, and using the sand trout, or getting sound trout on the tandem rig. Not the tail one, but the mono one. And I would say other takeaway is fish bites were still the go-to bait. My fishing buddy was using fish bites to get our bait. He was just using a straight 2-rig dropper hook with a weight on the bottom, and basically we're stacking up on bait in preparation for, or be ready for that big guy, so we can keep our rods prepped. And so let's see. I'll talk a day three here, but I think it's easier or better to kind of paint a picture when I'm talking about these different rods and whatnot. So let me go ahead and just show you what I mean. Okay, so this is one boat rod that I like to use. Okay, this is an old, oh shoot, who makes this? Ocean City, along with a Penn reel, level wind 320 is what it's called. This is one that my fishing buddy mainly uses because he doesn't like he likes having the level wind. I don't, because I tend to cast further with it's a bait catcher that you use in salt water and has no level wind feature like I'm showing you here. All right. And this thing is about 6 foot. All our boat rods are about 6 foot. And it gives you that extra leverage when it comes to bringing in some of these big guys. And in my case, or my buddy's case, he ended up bringing in a 36-inch black drum using this next rod. Okay, and this next one, I've got a match pair. It's the Penn Squall. Okay, I've had these for many years now. I've replaced them with the C3 reels that we were using. Those mainly for freshwater, and I switched over to these guys because I was looking for the old Penn Mag 525 that's meant for some distance casting. Well, they don't sell that anymore, so I went and found out that this is what replaced it. Now there's some other ones out there, but I particularly went with the Penn Squall 2. That's the variation that they had available at the time. And it's the 15. Oops, 15. Okay. What I like about it, you've got a magnet adjustment here on the side, and then you got that clicker, and it just looks like a really cool looking reel, and it's not very big. Okay, and I landed basically a 200-pound stingray with this thing, a 5-foot shark, as well as in this case a 36-inch black drum. Okay, this one is 40-pound test. I put 50-pound. The 40-pound gives me maybe 150, 200 yards. Bottom line, you'll get spooled if you get a really big one. You will get spooled. But for the pier fishing, yeah, as long as you can get them to slow down or turn them on that first run, you got them. That's what my buddy did. He got them on the first run to turn, and it was good to go, and he was able to drive them away from the pier pilings. All right. Last year, the same rod, I had one do that classic surge where you hear your clicker, and then when he's running, you hear it's like a pulsing feel, like that, and that's usually a big drum. Okay, well, I had that happen, and I could not turn him. All he did was just, I probably didn't even know he was hooked. He just kept going, and snap, there went my line. And then I had to re-spool. Okay, so the key takeaway here is I definitely like these boat rods. We've since I've got surf rods. In fact, I got 2 of them over here, 10-footers in the back. You can't really see them, I think. Let's see, right back there by my ukuleles. There's some 10-foot surf rods. There is that size limit on the piers where it has to be 10-foot max. You can't bring a 12-foot one because, lo and behold, I got 4 more surf rods, and those are all 12s. So those they've been sitting for a while now, waiting for the next run to the beach to do some beach fishing. But most likely, I'll probably take these guys out along with the well, my shark rigs, the Penn Senators that I've got for fishing from the beach for these big guys. But again, we take the kayak in that case. But it's been years since we've done that. It's mainly been just pure fishing now, you know. Anyways, that's what I'm talking about when I'm talking about our setups. Basically, 3 boat rods. There's a 4th one that my fishing buddy has. He's since headed back to his home, and it's again a Penn on a Shimano boat rod. Okay, and it is a level wind because he likes using the level wind. But bottom line, what I'm saying about a level wind is I've got several reels where there is no way when you're reeling it in, you're using your thumb. That's your level winding gear. Okay. All right. And what you're doing is as you're reeling in, you're using this thumb to guide the line so it lays evenly here. Okay. So yeah, I've got the Penn Squall. In fact, I got an old Newell from when I fished in California off some of the party boats and fishing some live sardines and whatnot with a tip, very lively tip. That's basically I prefer this one mainly because I think you get more distance because you're not having that level wind feature, and I do like that magnet capability, so I can make that adjustment if it starts overrunning on me. So yeah, you'll still get a few backlash, but it comes and goes and whatnot. But this one can hold. It's got that, I think, 25-pound drag, so it can handle some fish. So if you see some of our old videos, you'll see in one case where I'm bringing in a pretty nice size stingray. Okay. All right, let's get back to it now. Let's shift over to day 3. Okay, let me shift over to day 3. Okay, and certainly if you guys have any questions, I'm monitoring the chat right now to my left, and in fact I'll even say do call out with any questions. Okay, and when I say questions, in particular about fishing Galveston fishing pier, or maybe some gear questions that you may have that that may have came up as I was showing you some of the stuff I was using. Okay, so let's take us to day 3. Let's see, let me see if I can find day 3. Galveston Pier fishing update, Galveston fishing, what's biting? Let's see, 3 days ago. What's biting? What was 3 days ago? Day Saturday. Day 3. Okay, so I'll go ahead and take us to day 3 here. So, camera 4, picture, and I'm going to shift this to Galveston Fishing Pier. What's biting? 142. So let's hit that one. Okay. Bear with me. I'll skip this commercial here in a moment. Okay. All right. Okay, so here on the T head, I've laid out a camera so you can see really how clear that water is. I mean, that is some green looking water. And here I am mainly fishing. Let's see. We started out in the morning, did another break in the afternoon, then went to the evening and got to fishing. Here, let's see, is more sea trout, whiting, and croaker. And it's the tandem rig, mono, spec rigs were key. And then, let's see, the second gut in the evening where we got that black drum, 36-inch black drum. Also, we were seeing folks using live mullet, live shrimp for those speckled trout. Okay, so really that was day 3. Nothing too crazy about that day. But other thing is we were using, or my fishing buddy, he likes those blade lures. So it's a thin metal lure, and then it's got a weight on the bottom, and they kind of vibrate along, you know, and you can feel the vibration as it goes through the water, and you can stop and it'll just flutter down. That was like the go-to lure if you wanted to rack up some sand trout. In fact, I ended up wanting some sand trout that last day because I don't like freezing sand trout and speckled trout. You want to keep them fresh, and we were going to be there for 5 days. I prefer just to keep what we want to eat caught on the last day of the trip when it comes to speckled trout or sand trout, because if you try freezing it, it gets mushy when you defrost it, and if you freeze something in ice chest for so many days, it may not be good for you, if you know what I mean. And so I kind of wait until that tail end of the trip before I start keeping any sand trout that I'm not using for bait. Okay. So that was day 3. Shifting over to day 4. Let's see. Day 4. What do I have here? Let's see. No, I don't have it. Okay, I'll just talk about it and just let the video run in the background so that you guys can well, I'm sure you just don't want a grip and grin video or a face video versus having some background video. Okay, so day 3, we talked of day 3. Day 4, we fished all day this time. We're like, hey, we're getting at the tail end of the trip. Let's go ahead and fish all day and let's just see what happens. So we got there early. Well, not as early as we wanted to because we definitely had a tired day fishing the night before. Got there about 8 o'clock-ish, 9 o'clock-ish, and we just saw the whole T head on the left side facing shoreward, just stacked with fishermen, and they were killing it with Spanish mackerel. I mean, and what was nice is it was a lot of veteran fishermen who fished there before, and they know how to kind of fish when it's a crowded area. It's like everyone's making sure that you don't cross over the other. You do get the occasional, well, cross lines and all that, but you clear that pretty quickly. And then you can also tell when you're fishing with a group who's done this before is how they'll just kind of take turns. So someone will cast as they bring it in and it gets closer, someone will cast past them, and it's just that steady retrieve or steady motion of or cadence of casting when you're in a crowd, because it's a limited space, but luckily if you're there with other fishermen who are used to that, they do take turns and whatnot. So that's good. So you can tell a newbie will come up and well just kind of clobber everyone's lines or not wait for the next cast to get the opening. And next thing you know, that doesn't make for a good thing. But in this case, Spanish mackerel in the mornings, and what was working? Let's see. Well, let me go on and just go through my notes here. So it was on the T head, left side as you're facing the Gulf of Mexico, and let's see, but you are facing, you're casting shoreward, okay? And then let's see, silver, silver, silver. Why do I say that? It seemed like, oh, bear with me. I gotta go turn this back on here. All right, just a minute. Technical difficulties. I think I forgot to turn on. There we go. All right, it's back on. Okay. It's got some weird look now. GoPro, start recording. All right, I got it on loop, so I'll just let it loop. Okay, so Spanish mackerel, silver, 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 because that is what they wanted. They wanted silver spoons. They wanted silver gotchas. They wanted silver something lures, and that seemed to be the go-to one when it came to catching the Spanish mackerel. Other things was, let's see, spoons, gotchas. Oh, a float with live shrimp. That was another one that was just killing them as well. So, and even when things kind of died down a little bit with the spoons, shifting over to live shrimp, and they were still getting a steady bite over the course of the morning. Okay, and the other thing I'd call out is wire, wire, wire. Okay, what I mean by that, these Spanish mackerel, I forgot, and I got one online. He hit my gotcha plug and cut my line just like that. And I was like, I forgot. And luckily I made a real quick rig of some baling wire and got it hooked in there and was able to start fishing. And that helped. Oh, got a commercial. I'll let that run, and then I'll shift it back again. Okay. So ended up later picking up some, I think it was like a 9-inch wire with the swivel and clips that you get at Walmart. I would have preferred the 18-inch, but they didn't have any. And you know what was funny is you know when you have, or you're on the right track, is we went the next morning to Walmart and looked at Academy as well, all these different sporting goods areas, sporting sections on the island, and no silver spoons, no silver gotchas, hardly any wire, if not the 18-inch wire. And so we know we're on the right track. We just didn't have any lures to buy in this case. And so guess what? Next year, knock on wood, or hint, 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 definitely bring some more spoons, silver spoons, that is. Okay, sand trout on blades. Okay, so those blades that you like using when you go out fishing for walleye, saugeye, I called it north meets south. So I'm using a lure that's typically fished in the northern areas. And let's see, saw you hiding under an umbrella during it. Oh yeah, it definitely, yeah. Well, I'll talk about that one on day 4. All right. But yeah, these blades, I especially fishing with this, in this case, that 1/16 ounce capable rod, that BFS combo, worked perfectly. I think that's probably one of the main reasons why I like bait finesse fishing over the bait casters that I was using previously. So in fact, I just gave away one of my old bass bait casting rod and reel combos to my fishing buddy, because he wanted to go do some more different fishing and whatnot using that setup back to his home state. So I was like, hey, sure, go for it. I got enough rod and reels up here. Anyways, let's see, the blades. Other things I took away, the net. Having that big Pier net. What I do is I'll stage it along the railing and tie it down, or I've got this Velcro stuff that I can Velcro it so it doesn't get blown over. That net we caught and landed the 36-inch black drum. The little 16 didn't use a net, just hand lined them over. The other two sharks, same thing. Or no, one of them we ended up using the net. I believe it was the 30 plus, the 30 something inch one. The smaller one, the 20 something, that was just hand lining. So basically, while one person is on the reel, the other one just grabs the line and starts lifting up. And the reason why we'll do that is, well, we don't really need a net for that, and we've got some strong leader. I'm using this trimmer. I'll talk about that later, but it's these DIY trimmer line, weed eater line, I call it, and some mailing wire setup. But I'll talk to that later at the tail end when we start talking gear, because looks like with the way this stream's going, we may have some folks going back in and out. I just want to keep you guys engaged and answer any of the questions that you may have with fishing, as well as just call out some key points. And so here I am. It's day 4. Just talked about the Spanish mackerel and silver, wire. Make sure you have that. The sand trout with those blades, if you can get a hold of some of those blade lures, and I think I may have some. Let's see. Oh, it's in my closet here. Okay, bear with me. I'll let this run. I'm gonna go grab some. Bear with me. I should have it here shortly. Let's see. That's not it. That's not it. Let me just put it down. That's it. Okay. All right. I'm back. I found it. Okay, let me go ahead and stop the video, and let's shift over to another camera. Okay, here's this setup. Oh man, it's a weird setup. I guess it kind of got weird here, but okay, so this is the blade setup that I'm going to talk about here real quick. When I say blade lures, I'm talking about, okay, where'd it go now? Oh, here we go. This thing right here. Okay. All right, here, let's shift to camera 1. Okay. This one right here. All right. Oh, wait. Here, I'll give you a better view. Okay. This is my high speed autofocus. Not autofocus. Anyways, it's the blade lure. Okay. Piece of metal, real thin, got a little weighted here. And you've got this 3 holes. Okay. 3 holes. There. Okay, and then you've got this clip here, and what I was doing was I was casting this lure for those sand trout, okay, and that worked out really well. I was able to get multiple sand trout, no problem. For some reason, they didn't want the tandem rigs. Lo and behold, I was just fishing, didn't get any. All right, it's the other things that I want to call out on day 4. Okay. Let's see, the net. That net was used to help some other folks bring in this case, a 29-inch black drum, a 35-inch black drum. Individual was able to weigh it, and it came out to 28 pounds. So that was pretty interesting, being able to see that. And, bottom line, we had a net. All right, I went catfishing, got a 12-pound mudcat. Cool beans. Let's see. Let's see, other things. Black tips. My fishing buddy ended up catching a 26-inch black tip shark and a 32-inch black tip shark, both on the sand trout. All right, so I was catching the bait with this blade lure, and my fishing buddy was catching bigger fish with the bait that I caught with that blade lure. Good thing. All right, so that was day 4. Big thing was the Spanish mackerel started kind of coming in force in the morning and kind of staying around to about 11:30, and then it kind of tailed off after that. But spoons, silver, and then make sure you have wire, and that net sure was handy, helping to bring some other fish in for those that didn't. Let's see. Ruben Flores Jigs said hi. Howdy, howdy. How's it going? All right. Appreciate you guys calling out. I'm just going through what we did during this trip to the coast. And let me go ahead and stream some stuff in the background here so I don't leave you just seeing me talking and getting you all bored and everything. All right. Okay. So that was day 4. Now going to our last day, day 5. That one was interesting. All right. Here, let me just get to those notes. So this is another one where we fished all day again. Okay. All day. And what did I call out this time? Spanish again. And it went up to about 11:30. And then it kind of tailed that after that. But this was a little bit different. And I'll get to that here in a moment. But just keep that in mind. It was a little bit different when it came to Spanish mackerel. All right. Needlefish. I was at one point, I was getting frustrated with all these needlefish kind of hitting my bait and lure and not getting hooked. And I was just saying, hey, I wonder if I can catch one. And lo and behold, I put a little piece of fish bites on a size 10 treble hook, and I cast it, just outright cast it easily with the Bait Finesse gear, that Shimano Curado BFS XG, and I would just kind of bring it in fast and jerky at times, and next thing you know, I'm getting hookups with these needlefish, landing one out of maybe 10, 15 or so, because I'm getting hits. They're on the hook and I can feel them jumping, but they would jump up and tail walk a little or kind of wiggle their ways or their tails free as I lift it up. But hey, that was pretty cool. And then I ended up catching this fish for the first time called a leather jacket. I had no clue that they have these little needle-like spines by just underneath their, I guess, pectorals maybe, but down below. And I'm holding it in my hand, and I walk up to my fishing buddy because he had caught one earlier, and I asked him, I says, hey, I got one of these ones that you caught. And I look over at some other folks on the pier and just mentioned to them, do you know what fish this is? And they immediately said, leather jacket, poisonous, don't keep them. And I ended up being startled, and I threw that back in the water immediately and looked at my hand, and luckily I didn't get poked. But when you look online and you look up leather jack or leather jacket, it'll show a picture of these two little spine things that are right on its right. Like if you're a fish, it'd be like sticking out here, and apparently they have some venom into it, and it hurts even more than getting poked by a hard head or a gaff top. So yeah, I've been poked by many a hard head, and they hurt, but not been poked by one of these leather jackets. So hey, lesson learned, and I'm remembering that, and I have it in my brain as to how this thing looks. They got like a little yellow tail, kind of mackerel looking. That's what was thrown. It's like, is that a juvenile Spanish mackerel or something? It turns out it's a leather jacket. Different names. Okay. Let's see. Other things to call out. Let's see. Needlefish BFS style, where I use split shot and fish bites and a treble hook. The other one was, let's see. Okay, it's BFS again, but what was I fishing for? Oh. I ended up getting a pompano, all right? And we ended up cooking it here. I was fishing specifically for some spade fish. I had put on a float, dropped it about 3 foot down, and put the treble hook on there, and I was using some dead shrimp. And I was getting hits from those needlefish, but as soon as I could get it to drop below all those needlefish, then all these little spade fish started poking away at it, and I'd hook into them. In fact, I'll probably do a YouTube short showing how I was doing that. But unfortunately, they have to be 14 inches, and these were more like maybe 6. But they certainly can, put a bend in your ultralight bait casting rod, BFS style, easily, and it's like a bluegill on steroids. And imagine if it was a 14-inch one. Let's see, Raul, how's it going, Raul? Just thanks for joining. Just walking through some of the stuff that I did down at Galveston Fishing Pier. Okay, talking day 5. That's the final day that we were there. Okay. So with that, I mentioned the leather jacket and those 2 spines. Got to be very cautious. Venom, poison. I got it marked in my notes here. On the case of the spade fish, I did learn, yeah, they have to be 14-inch. I didn't know that. I do know that we've caught some really nice spade fish in the past, fishing over there at Seawolf Park on that pier. And so, hint, 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 maybe if I really want some spade fish, I definitely think about going there at times. Okay, and then using a float and dead shrimp. If you could get live shrimp, definitely want that, because that was what the fish were going for. Okay. All right. Other thing to talk about on day 5 is that was the morning and into the afternoon. Going into the evening, here's some key call outs that I would say. Oh, bear with me. Got another one of these video ads. Let me pop that open there. Oh, shoot. Let's give you another one. Let's go to this one. All right. I'll let that one run in the background also. Okay. I think, what am I doing here? I think I'm fishing a tandem rig here. This is just showing you how I'm fishing for these guys under the lights. Okay. I've done several videos like that, but I'll let that one run. Okay. Let's see, I just noticed something. Okay. Let me just, I don't like the setup here with that, so I'm just going to break it out a little bit. There we go. All right. So the late afternoon in the evening, Spanish mackerel, they were still hitting. Instead of just being a morning bite, day 5, something changed. And I noticed when I looked at the tide charts that we started getting the double tides, low and a low and a high and a high. Earlier that week to the day before, everything was a low, one low tide, one high tide, and a lot of time in between. So day 5 went back to the normal schedule that we're used to. Okay. And so we started getting some strikes on, guess what? Spanish mackerel. My fishing buddy ended up getting one on a silver spoon. A couple other folks got them on silver spoons. And then one other individual got them on a gold spoon. Okay, gold spoon. And then finally, someone got them on a float and live shrimp rig. Okay. And let's see. And then speaking of float and live shrimp rig, they were also getting them on pompano. Okay. Oh, I see. This is a video where I put the live stream thing together. I can talk about that later, but let's keep talking fishing right now. So, yeah, pompano on live shrimp and under a float. The hardheads, they were getting hit. If you had squid, they seemed to be consistently taking the bait. And then we had that rain squall. And what happened there was I kept watching the weather, and my fishing buddy are just debating, hey, I don't think it's going to rain. I think it is. I decide I'm going to go put up my screaming gear because I don't want to get soaked and wet. So I took it back. And then right when I got back, sat down and started fiddling with some of the gear. That's when we started getting some sprinkles, and then immediately turned to rain. So we ended up covering everything. I've got this, my tackle box has a rain flap, and I have some rain gear, and we covered that up. But by then it was just pouring, and we bring some umbrellas because of the sun. That makes a world of a difference. You're gonna fish all day to be able to get some shade and cover up. Like in the photo here in this stream, you'll see down below how I cover up. I got my hat, got face covering, I've got covering for my arms, and then at that point Uh, uh, you're covered, but you probably would be more comfortable having that umbrella for that extra shade. Well, it turns out good thing we had those umbrellas because we ended up hunkering down under that rain squall for about 30 minutes or so. Let's see, OLC fishing. All right, thanks for joining. Just going over our trip from Galveston. Okay. Uh, let's see. So yeah, that was a big takeaway, lesson learned when it came to having rain gear and umbrellas. But really, what we should have done was do like the other folks. They put up their gear and they head to shelter by the restroom. Just over there, as you go to the entrance from the Pier store onto the pier itself, there's a restroom area with an overhang. That's where everyone else was hanging out under the pier, waiting for this rainstorm to go by. That's probably the smarter thing to do instead of staying out on the T head. But by then it was too late for us. But while folks were sitting there and things kind of tailed down a little and it started sprinkling, they did start noticing a number of big specks, probably over the slot 15-20 limit, just lingering in the surf. And I believe anyone who had some live bait, be it the mullet or shrimp, after the rain passed, they probably got a few limits or two, if not some trophies to catch and release. Okay, so that was day 5, and then from there we fished a little bit longer. Ended up getting that Spanish mackerel, the pompano, and some sand trout that we took home. Ended up doing a little catch and cook deal here. In fact, I'll go take us over there, right here. Okay. Okay, so this is just myself back at the casa cooking over there over my induction burner with the cast iron dilly in the back. All right, so I'll just let that one run. Okay. Okay, and then while that's happening, let me go over some of the key takeaways now on what we saw from the past as well as this season or this year. Okay, so key takeaways that carry over from the past and I just want to call out and maybe keep in mind is one, I gotta take my glasses off, bear with me. One, let's see, the trimmer and Malin wire DIY shark rigs, they did awesome again. And that Dubrode haywire twist tool, I had to make some on the fly haywire twist placement hook and leader line when we had some break-offs or some kinks in the wire. Having that was, just like in past years, been awesome having that. Never had to really worry about getting broken off. I think we had one break off, and that was yours truly getting snagged on something. I don't know what it was, but it was, I don't know what it was. But luckily there was another fisherman that did show me or tell me what he does when he has a snag like that. So I was struggling trying to break it off the whatever was snagged on. I just wanted my line back, and I really wanted just to break closest to the leader setup I could, but I didn't think I could do it. So I went ahead and I was getting ready to cut the line, and what he suggested was to take your rod. Let me see if I can show you here. Turn on this GoPro again, get you that view. Okay, GoPro, start recording. Okay, all right, so here is what he suggested. You take your rod, okay, and it's, you're stuck. Okay, I'm pulling, you're getting something to help pull on the line to break it off, and it's just not happening. It's not happening. What he said to do is loosen your line and wrap it on the butt section of your rod. Okay, so I did that. I wrapped it, and then now I've got this piece running to the snag line, and I've got it secured to the butt of my rod, and then I just started walking back. And when I did that, in like a few seconds, I got it tight enough to where I could snap the line, and then I was able to recover most of my line back. and then just rebait up with that trimmer wire DIY rig that I used. Okay, so that was good. I really like that. Let's see, and in fact, I'll even show you some of that stuff here shortly. The live mullet. It was suggested having live mullet last year, so let me shift again. Okay, it was suggested having live mullet last year, and that's why I specifically got that bait finesse gear so I could cast, because I was using a surf or a spinning boat rod, and it's just way too big and heavy to be able to cast a shrimp, right? Or not in this case, shrimp. What's it called? A live mullet, 2 to 3, 4-inch one. I was casting some 2-inch ones. I did prefer the 4. That one seemed to be getting some consistent bites. I did try some of the bigger mullet, and I had some takes there, but there weren't any really big guys that were going for it. Okay. Tides. Again, another thing that carried over again. The tides. Fishing the tides. In the past, we would just gut it out and just keep fishing no matter what the tide was. Now we fish the tides. So what was unusual, we got that crystal clear water this time, and this long tide time between low tide versus high tide. So, sometimes it was like, okay, we'll come in at this point, do a morning, evening, and then later on, as we got to the tail end of the trip, just said, let's go ahead and gut it out, fish the day, knowing that we did have that long time period. We just took the umbrellas and basically throw it over us and hunkered down through the heat of the day, and then went ahead and fished into the evening. Stayed hydrated the whole time. My buddy brought a rolling ice chest that we could put all our drinks and whatnot in, throw some ice in there, held a lot of water and Gatorade. And we still had our Pier cart that, again, one of the other things we had learned is definitely get a Pier cart. There are some piers that have some restrictions on the size. This one seems to pass every year. Well, it passed the 1 year. It's passed ever since. That was really helpful. Okay. So carryover stuff. Some new stuff this year. New is live shrimp. Live shrimp. Everything was striking live shrimp. We saw pompano, we saw Spanish mackerel, we saw the sand trout and whatnot. We saw black drum. There were some fishing under a float. There were some folks just tossing, live lining a a shrimp on the end, or on their line, and they're just tossing it out there. In this case, when we saw a couple of folks that were sight casting some black drum, they were just live lining, no float or anything, just casting it out there and getting the hits. So good news there. I think next year we're probably going to go get a bucket of live shrimp, or at least a quart of live shrimp. I got a quart over there in Surfside, but unfortunately nothing was going for it over there. But I probably should have restocked it then with some more shrimp while we were up in Galveston. Okay. Wire. You definitely want to wire. I'll get to showing you what I have that, because I'm going to go through my tackle box here. I think the interest is there. Folks are coming and going. I certainly can talk fishing all a long time. If I'm not fishing, I usually will talk fishing, and I do like, just sharing the info and taking it from there. Okay. So wire, spoons. I would say I would get spoons and gotchas, and in particular the Sprite spoon. There's several spoons that we were using. Ones that have the concave spoon-like look. The other one where it's got a concave, but then it has this little wavy looking thing. Kind of reminds me of the old crocodile lures I used to use casting metal for rockfish and whatnot on the Pacific coast. Okay. The gotchas, I had one that had the one hook and a treble. I had the other one that had both treble hooks. The one with one hook is the one that got bit and got cut off. After that, everything else I was casting got some hits, but nothing consistent. Had a lot of them just kind of turn and look away. even it was silver. So I did see some of the veteran guys out there with the gotchas with the single hook setup that I ended up losing initially. All right. Okay. What else? I would still get gold. We did see one individual who used gold and was able to get them there. So it doesn't hurt. Have silver one day, have gold the other. Okay. Yuzuri 20-pound braid. That's the first time using it. I put it on the Shimano BFS rod and reel, and yeah, it's. I think I'm gonna go back to it. I've been using spider wire, and there's another one I've been using, but the spider wire tends to it tends to kind of lose color, and it has a different feel. I don't know. I'm just saying. I think I'm gonna go with Yuzuri going forward. I do like the little Yuzuri little lure thing that I use bait casting wise. It's like a mini crankbait. Knots. Oh yeah, that's right. So normally I've been using in the past. I've used improved clinch knots and trilene knots. This round I've been shifting over more to the uni knot, as well as doing a braid to mono connection or knot. It's a simple tie where it's an overhand knot on your mono, and then you slide in your braid, and then you wrap it so many times, and then coming back around, put it in the loop, sort of like a clinch knot, and then tie down on it. And that one worked really well, especially in the fast action where I needed to reconnect stuff, because I was using a silver swivel on and then attaching the mono, so tie the braid to the swivel, and then the mono to the lure or the mono to the bait. And what I was noticing is, well, look at that, a silver swivel, and Mr. Spanish Mackerel, thinking it's something, strikes it, and I was getting cut off. So yeah, get some wire basically. Let's see. Oh, and then there's this modified blood knot / barrel knot that I learned before the trip. And then I also, just as a reminder, I keep it on my phone, is the Lefty Cray loop knot. Yeah, when you're fishing a crankbait that you want, especially the Rapala one, that you want to have that movement. I went and had that for the ready. I've used it several times now, and I've been happy with it. Quick tie, very simple tie, and then you get that extra action because of that loop in the knot, instead of it being tied directly to the line. So it gets that more natural, or at least the lure action that it was designed for. The modified blood knot, I used that multiple times. That's where I needed to connect, be it mono, 2 pieces of mono quickly. That blood knot was a much easier tie than I've been used to. And what happens is, there's some YouTube shorts on it, I believe, well, in fact, that's where I learned it, is you take the mono, you tie it on one deal, and then temporarily, and then you kind of flip it over like you're doing a dropper knot, and then you slide that one over and clip it, and sure enough, it works. I'll even demo that here in a moment. Let's see. Blades. Make sure, if you're going to be using these blades, or even just freshwater lures in general, make sure you slap on some galvanized hooks, because my fishing buddy brought his freshwaters, and yeah, okay, it handled these guys, but within a day they were already rusting on them. And so I'd mentioned, oh, yeah, you probably want to just rinse them off at least before the end of the day, or before you put them in the tackle box. But if not, before the trip, switch over to some of those treble hooks that are galvanized. Next one, net is key. That's a key, but I don't know how many times we're asked for someone to use our net, or we help them land them. But something as big as that 36-inch black drum, as well as some smaller ones as well. Like I used it to bring in the pompano that I caught, because I wasn't going to be able to crank that thing over using that bait finesse gear. It is just way too much to overpower it here. Okay. All right. I think we're still live. I'm getting an error right now saying that the maintain smooth streaming. May have to take a look at something. Oh, there's gonna be some buffering. I don't know why it dropped like that too. That's weird. Okay, let me see. Stream health, view activity. Okay. Yeah, it says we're still rocking. All right, let me check something. It's a good thing about the desktop. I have some leeway when it comes to adjusting the stream that I'm not able to do when I do it on the fly here. Okay, so let's drop down. Let's go 5,000. See if that'll help. Okay. Okay. All right, I dropped it. Okay. Hopefully that'll kind of pick things up here in a moment. But let's go ahead and finish things out here. Okay. Live streaming. Okay, so some of the videos you saw where I'm live streaming. Let me shift over. Camera two, right here. This is a live streaming setup that I used. Okay, where I was able to live stream for a couple hours. I probably could have went longer as well, but I think I showed this in other videos, but I'm going to show you here real quick. It's in a mesh bag because I keep the gear in the mesh bag and it may get hot on me. So having that mesh helps. What it is I've got a USB modem, okay, that is attached to a travel router right here. And then from there I've got two choices. I can connect it wirelessly to be it an iPad, or in this case I got a burner, basically a phone from Kroger, our local grocery stores that we have, for like 15 bucks, and did a no cellular plan or anything. I just connect to it wirelessly, and my plan is to put it on the back here. Let's see, I got it right here. It's the Vista, yeah, this thing right here, AT&T Vista. Okay, my plan is to mount it on the back of this thing here and have it on, and from here I can just kind of hold it. Let's see, I can hang it up on something and I can maintain the live stream like I was doing earlier in one of the videos where I'm streaming from my phone. I can walk around, talk and whatnot, you know, show you what I'm doing, and being able to still monitor the chat, make sure I've answered the mail appropriately. Okay, this was the initial run at seeing how this would work, and I would say it was a success. I was able to use it 3 times, and I got some pretty long streams that I normally aren't able to do when I'm using my action cameras, be it the GoPro or the DJI Osmo Action. So that would be, I would say, again, a success. Let me just fix this here. Okay. All right, next thing I want to do is let's go and talk some of the gear that I had. And I think the best way to call it out is just to show you. Okay. Here. Oh, it's heavy. It's heavy. Oh, right here. This is one that I picked up from Bass Pro Shops, and wait here, I'm getting that buffering issue again. Okay, I gotta adjust the setting. It's saying 6,800. Wow, I said that earlier. 6,800. Okay, 6,800. 6,800. Okay. Okay, it should kick in here in a moment. Okay, let me lower this so you can see. Okay, there we go. This is it right here. I think I need to do just a little bit. Okay, so this is the Bass Pro Shop. It's a backpack dealie right here. It's got straps in the back where you can put on the back. Got rain gear, a rain covering and rain gear and that's what helped out when we were stuck on the pier. And in here is where I've been keeping all my spec rigs, hooks, and snell gear. And right here is what I'm talking about. Right here. This is that. This is what I was looking for. I picked this up at Cabelas today. 18-inch wire. All right. While we were down on the coast, I ended up using just the 9-inch. All right, but you definitely wanted the longer one. 9-inch, we were able to get one Spanish mackerel, prevent any more cutoffs. But lo and behold, I did get some cutoffs when I did get some cutoffs when I was fishing shrimp under a float, and lo and behold, I had several cutoffs, some real good pulls. I believe they were Spanish mackerel, and it kind of threw me at that time that they were even hitting. I thought that was going to be more of a morning thing, but in the case of that double tide, it looked like they were coming in on us. So good, cool beans. These are the fish bites. I also have some gulp minnows, okay, that I was talking about. These aren't even opened. This one isn't open. This was some that was opened. Okay. Right here is the hooks that I use. Okay, this is what we normally use for shark rigs. Okay, the key thing about here is you gotta make sure if you're fishing for shark, it needs to be the non-stainless, non-offset hook, or else you're well, breaking regulations here in great state of Texas. So be careful. Okay. Going over here, I only have a little bit left, but this is that. Let me flip it over. Okay. Super braid. Yozuri Super Braid, 20-pound test, 0.009 inch diameter. Okay. And that's the equivalent of a 4-pound test mono that I use. And this is what I put on that BFS gear. Okay. Very happy with it. And then right in here is a ratchet. Okay. So we had a problem when we were lifting up a 200-pound stingray. It took basically 9 people helping us get it up there, and we had to kind of set up some kind of a ratcheting system by putting the line through around one of the railing, wooden railing piece, and kind of yanking it up. So I started bringing this just in case, because if there's just only a few of us, I can at least quickly attach this to the railing and get this ratcheting here, so we can crank up, let it stop, crank up, and we can lift it with people. Okay. Right here, what I was talking about when it came to weeder line and the shark rigs that we're using, and we use this. Really, it's the line diameter. This is the 0.095, and supposedly it's equivalent to 400-pound test mono. Okay, so we have yet to have a break off on the mono, or in this case, this weeder trimmer line. Okay. And here, let's see if I can get to it. There's various lures and whatnot. Didn't really try anything there this round other than, I can show you right here. Other than right there, I got a couple of hits off this DOA shrimp, okay, speckled trout and sand trout. Okay. But it wasn't consistent enough that I kept at it, and I went ahead and switched things up again. Okay. Here, this is some of the. I tried these guys, mirror lure, right here, and yeah, that one didn't get hits. I've had in the past where I use these mirror lures and no problem. Tried the Rapala, no luck there. Tried a slab. These are Castmaster copies. Didn't get anything on that, but I did see others do well. Here's those gotcha plugs. And then back here, this is a gold one, but I want to show you what I mean by concave. So it looks like more of a spoon, okay? spoon-like dealie right there versus the wavy looking one. Let's see, here's another one. Oh, this is about the it's a gold one. There's some silver ones. Okay. Here's where I was talking about the tandem rig with the grub tail. This is what I'm talking about right here. And that was killing them on the first day for sand trout, and then later on it became just the mono without the grub tail and a smaller size one. That seemed to work. Let's see what else we got here. Okay. All right. Lay that down. All right. Here's the weights that we use. You can see there's some other weights here, but it's mainly these ones that I make. All right. Pour the lead. You can see the ones that we use this round are kind of rusted out, but basically it's some galvanized wire, and this is a 3. We use the 3 and 4s this round. Some years we use the 2s. Sometimes we split back between the 3s and 4s. This is what we'll use a little for sand, some pyramid sinkers. For the most part, we'll use these claw or spider wire or spider sinkers. What you're doing is once you to set it, you kind of bend this over like this. This one's kind of probably break on me since it's rusted out. Okay, and you kind of set it out. Let's see, like so. You can bend it some more out. That one's broken. Yeah, it usually happens after one of these trips. But what's nice about this is I just re-pour it, melt it down and re-pour it again, and with some new wire, and then they turn out like this. Okay. Okay, so then you can buy these, but all right. But what kills me is either like $5 to $10 now. This baby right here is probably really, this is an 8-ouncer right here. Pay some crazy money. Versus I just re-pour these from some lead that I got. All right, I still got I bought about 15 pounds of lead. All right, that I use for this as well as pouring my own. I like to do some shooting as well, so I pour my own bullets. All right, okay, so there's that. And then gear wise, here's a bunch of hooks as well as right here's a crimper thing where we have some crimps that I used to make the DIY wire leaders. Right, and then something different than what I used in the past is this fish finder rig right here that kind of slips. Okay, I can show you more on that, but anyways, I have that. And then yeah. There it is. And then some more weights. Okay. Got Leatherman here, some rubber bands. I'm trying to find the one tool that I wanted to show you that I used to make the Malin wire. Oh, there it is. This is it. This is the Dubro haywire twist tool. Okay, and I use it. This is rated from 9 to on up, I believe, Malin wire. Right, and this allows me to make these haywire twists and close it off with a I don't know what I think a barrel twist, and then from there it's good to go. Set up your DIY shark rig. I'll grab that here in a moment. Let me just pull this out. Yeah, you can see. Those are what I make using weed eater line and the Malin wire. Okay. You can buy some. I got some ones that I've bought as well as that I found. But yeah, those are some crazy prices now to get them. Let me show you. I think I need to shift cameras. Okay, bear with me. Okay, all right, so this is that weedier line setup. Okay, you can see white as well as orange in the mix. They're both the 0.095 diameter. Okay, and I'll have a barrel swivel on one end right here. I'll have a clamp or a loop with a crimp right here that I'll use my crimping tool on. And then I'll slide on the fish finder rig. This is where the weight's going to be. And this is that fish finder rig that has this little crimp that you kind of squish it in there to meet. It's a pain. That's why I went over to the other style. And then I have another loop. And from here, I'll have to the boat rod, I'll have another swivel, and I'll just attach it to the swivel. And then I'll attach the weight right here on that slider rig. And then from here, we'll attach the baling wire to the hook. Okay. And what that does is give you a setup about, in this case, about 3 foot, which works perfect for these 5 foot boat rods. And you're going to also add in that extra deal of baling wire. Okay. So I'll show you that here in a moment. Anyone have any call outs? We had a bunch of folks on earlier. Now it looks like folks are just kind of trickling in and out. But you just joined, just going over our Galveston fishing pier trip, and we called out a few things with some key takeaways here and there. And at this point, I'm just going over some of the gear that we use. In particular, now I'm talking about these DIY rigs that we use for shark rigs, and the baling wire in this case. So let's see. This is the baling wire. It comes in these green looking dealies. Okay, right here. Okay, and this is the 4,208 pound test. Or no, it's the number 109 pound test. Okay, that's the one we normally use. A lot stiff, very stiff. And then there's another one that I use that's let's see, I think it's more like 40 pounds, I think. Let's see, number 4, 40 pound. Okay. All right. And this one I used when I was having to quickly put together a wire leader for those Spanish mackerel that were tearing things up. All right. Here's some ones that I made extra, as well as made on the fly while we were out on the pier. This is the baling wire with a loop that I used at Dubro tool, haywire twist tool. Okay. So there's that. Okay. It's a haywire twist and then a couple of locking turns at the 90 to lock it in place. Okay. And then another haywire twist as well as loop dealy here. Okay. And this will catch them. All right. We've yet to lose a fish because of leader failure. It's always been line or them throwing the hook on us now. I did try some 7-strand with this lighter clamping tool and these lighter crimps. They weren't making it. No, I mean, there was one case where we caught pretty decent sized stingray, and yeah, there was no way we could lift them up. It ended up breaking at the leader, and that was the year I decided I got to figure out something else. That ain't gonna work. And so I looked at some old videos of land-based shark fishing, and they were talking about using the 0.095 trimmer line, weedier line, and these heavy-duty crimps, and using this wire. I use baling wire, but I've used another variant that is basically piano wire, single strand of stainless steel wire. And then I use these crimps right here. I don't know if you can see it. All right, I got these on Amazon, and I usually mainly use the big ones on the end here, right here. But I use the other ones off and on. Well, I keep that handy. All right, and then you gotta have a good crimping tool. So to make these, and they're pretty straightforward with the crimping tool. Just make sure that you don't crimp it too tightly, or you might be damaging the line itself and have a failure there. I tend to just kind of gauge it to where I can see that I'm not damaging the line. Let's see, but let me show you that tool here in a moment. Just putting things up. Here, let me just throw it here on the end here. All right, and certainly call on anything. I'm talking Galveston fishing, and the past trip to the Galveston fishing pier where I ended up doing pretty good overall. Yeah, I'm already ready to go again instead of waiting until next year. You know, just really like fishing saltwater. All right, okay, let me just throw that in there. Let's see. Throw this back in there. I'm just putting stuff up in the tackle box. Let's see right here. Tackle box. Okay. Just kind of slipping it through here. And then I'm going to show you the crimping tool. Should be on this side. This is the other gear we like having. Yeah. So I just picked these up. Little nail clipper deal, cripper, but has a little knife thing. Well, it's this little deal here, like a hook-like thing. I don't know if you can really see it. It's got a little hook-like thing right there. Okay. I think you use it to pop out the lead in your jigs. Right here is, oh, that's not it. It's on the other side. Shoot. Bear with me. Wrong side. This other side I keep floats as well as that crimping tool. Right here. This one. All right. They make heavier duty ones, but this does pretty good for me right now. Okay. All right. And that's what I use to make those DIY shark leaders that I've yet again to have a leader failure. All right. Let's get this closed out. I think that covers everything I wanted to bring up in case anyone has any other things to call out. Oh, wait, I do have one more. Oh no, I already talked about it. Wire. Make sure you have wire. Oops, bear with me. All right, wire. Make sure you have wire. Right? Because those Spanish Mac will cut your line just like that. All right. Okay, so with that, I believe that brings us to the end. I do like my Galveston fishing pier hat. I like the high forehead thing here. And then I am sporting the When in Doubt, Set the Hook polo shirt. Just, hey, it's a motto. When in doubt, set the hook. You'll be surprised what may be on the other end when you pull back. All right. Okay, so with that, I'm going to go ahead and call it. Appreciate you guys joining. I think it was a good engagement. Some folks coming in and out at the time. And if you do have any follow-up questions, certainly just ping me. either in the community tab or on this thing, I think it'll still respond back to where I'll get a notice and I can go check it out, because I do like to keep up with any comments and whatnot when folks are calling things out. All right. So with that, till next time, we'll catch y'all later, and good luck and good fishing.